All right, Angeline. So now we're all set. How about you tell us a little bit about yourself to begin with?
Thank you, Tammy, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. It's my honor to be here. My name is Angeline Wehmeyer. What I'm doing for people is I empower people with the knowledge and tool that they need to invest wisely, regardless what income level are they.
I love that. That's one of the reasons why I have you on here is I want to be able to offer the women that are going to be on here an ability to be able to know that there's more than one way to do what they want to do,
Mhm.
that they can invest in their own money, that they can make their own money, and what to do with that money once they've made it. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
perfect. So you told me what you do for a living. How did you choose that?
When I was little, I always see my mother to become an entrepreneur herself, and I saw her make money. She is a hardworking woman. She really are. Came from a very, very poor background and make herself way up to millions by herself. And also in China. And I saw her whenever she made money, she would invest. And maybe under the influence of my mother, I always want to become an entrepreneur myself. And I also invest my money like my mother. That's why I start out as an investor in real estate. Yeah. Thanks to mom.
Yeah, having a strong mom makes a big difference, and I love that. That's amazing because a lot of times we hear, oh, his dad made all the money, and I love that it was your mom that influenced you.
Yeah, my
That's
mom.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So what did it take for you to get to where you are? I mean, you say you started with your mom, so you had a good background.
Yes.
It's amazing. So did she help you out? Did she, help you with knowing what to do? I mean, what kind of ups and downs and that kind of stuff do you have?
Wow. I came to the US 2009
Mhm.
and I went here to get my master's degree. That's my mom's vision for me. She said that I go to school and then I get a good grade and then I just work for a company and I'm good for the rest of my life. And do you know why my mother said that to me?
No.
Because in her mind, I'm not smart enough to do my own business. She always think that like I don't have what it takes to be in the business world. That's why it's better for me just get married and working at the 9 to 5 and retire. That's her vision. However, when I graduated, I spent a lot of money in my education.
Mhm.
And after I looking for a job, it's just so challenging. And the company only want to pay me the minimum wage. And then we moved from New Jersey to Texas. I decided I don't want to look for a 9 to 5 job because I want to have the flexibility to be at home with the kids and spend time with them. However, I also want to have my own business, give me the flexibility. And that's why I started to invest in real estate. At that time, I don't know anything. All I know is just go out, take massive action, and go out, look at the houses and making offer. As long as I do some numbers, as long as cash flow, it's positive, it's good investment. And
Mhm.
that's how I started it, my real estate journey.
That's great. So this is a bit off topic from the questions that I had sent you to ask, but I'm curious, do you now it's hard for you to put yourself in your mom's shoes, but do you think that maybe she wanted you to take that route because she had worked so hard to get what she wanted, she didn't want you to go through the same trouble or the same hardships? Or is it because a lot of and the reason why I want to do this podcast is because I want women and girls to understand that regardless of what your parents thought or how they saw you, you can break out of that, which is exactly what you did. You thought your mom put you in this paradigm
Mhm.
of, this way of thinking that you weren't good enough, or she didn't think you were smart enough. But do you think it possible that maybe she didn't think that you had the she didn't want you to go through the same hardships that she went through? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. I wish that was the case. But she in her mind, it's really, I'm not smart enough to do business.
Okay. And you obviously proved her wrong, proved yourself
Yeah,
that you are a capable businesswoman, and I love that. So that actually goes into, did you have any limitations and what challenges you had? That would be one of them, is
yeah,
that, you know, breaking out of that mindset that your mother had for you,
yeah.
and showing yourself as much as her that you were capable and are capable of running your own business. And so when it comes to the real estate, is that something that you had difficulty and challenge with because you're a woman, or is it something that you found was a little bit easier because you're a woman? Any challenges with that?
I don't think in real estate, either you are woman or man, it really doesn't matter. I think all that matters, it takes a burning desire, I would say. A burning desire that you want to be successful regardless. So that's what I did. I definitely have a burning desire, and I take massive action. I make mistake, I correct it, I continue, I correct, I continue.
Is that something, is that a mindset that you've had all your life, or is that something that you developed?
It's a mindset I develop.
And how
Uh,
did you develop it? What did you do to be able to develop that?
I remember when I was in China, I read the book called Poor Dad, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came to the US, I read it again in English version. And if I highly recommend go back to review that book. Robert Kiyosaki talked about the four quadrants,
Yep.
right? ESBI.
Mm-hmm.
And he introduced me in that book. He introduced me the concept about passive income. I never know what it's called, passive income. And then he also introduced me to the concept about buying assets.
Yep.
He said that as long as if you want to have freedom, especially financial freedom, you want to find a way to move yourself from the left side to the right side, which is either become a big business owner or investor.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I don't know how. I just do everything. Whatever comes to me, whatever opportunity comes to me, I do it all. I remember in the book, he talked about direct selling. It's a great way to start owning your business. That's why I Google the direct selling company.
Yeah.
And then I start out with selling like fashionable jewelry and doing the import and export between China and the US, doing online email marketing. I tried everything. And I learn and I grow.
So in trying, okay, so that takes me to another great question, is in trying everything,
Mm,
I'm sure you may have found things that maybe you didn't like,
yes,
or didn't work well for the way that you wanted to do business. How did you, first off, how did you feel about letting those things go?
yeah,
And secondly, how did you feel about having to start all over again with something new? Did you
yeah.
get frustrated because, okay, I spent so much time with this and now that's not working out, and now here I need to move on to something else? Or was it just a natural transition with you for going from, okay, this doesn't work, let me let go of that and try something new and see how that works?
Yeah. Yeah. Tammy, thank you for bringing this up. Like when I selling the jewelry, right? It's not my passion. I feel, wow, it's selling this stuff to people, right? They don't necessarily need. And when I was in importing and exporting, it didn't go well. But right now, I still have a full garage full of headbands and accessories. And when I was in the real estate, I have done many different type of real estate. I do fix and upper, and one of the deal I remember, I lost money, right? It's just not easy to lose that amount of money, right? And sometimes I question myself, like again that little voice, I'm not good enough. My mom said I shouldn't be in the business, like come up all the time. However, I said, you know what? If this didn't work out, let's move on. I always open-minded. Maybe that's the reason why. I always open-minded to receive whatever people say something to me. I'm always open to learn. And then I evaluate. And then I choose to let go, because I can hang on to those mistakes, or I can just let go of that baggage and go further. And I always tell my kids that sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. There's no failure in life as long as you don't give up. If I give up, I stop trying, I consider it's a fail. But if I continue to learn from my mistake and keep going, keep moving forward, I consider it a success.
Spectacular. I love that because it's, you know, everybody sees where you are now. So many people are like, oh my gosh, she's successful. She's, you know, she's got herself together, and they don't think about, or they don't consider, and you hear so many people saying this, you know, they don't consider where you came from. They don't consider the work that you had to put in, you have to put in to be able to get to where you're going. And sometimes it seems like you're not moving anywhere. You know, I honestly, right now, you know, for a little while, felt like I wasn't moving anywhere. And I know that for you, you know, you're selling fashion, you're doing all these things, and you feel like you're not moving forward because it's not working the way that you planned. But you are moving forward because, like you said, this may be maybe something that you'll have to start over again, but you learn from that and move on and say, okay, so I've learned this, this, and this. I can take these two things and use that to move forward. This one I can discard, and I don't need to think about that anymore. And whatever that case may be, you know. I'm not very good at, you know, the import-export business, but that doesn't mean that I'm not really good at real estate. And it's not a big deal to shift to something completely different.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who would have thought fashion has anything to do with real estate? In you know, some people's mind, they have nothing to do with each other, but in your case, they have a lot to do with each other because that progression of growth and learning what you can and can't do makes a big difference. So that being said, how long did it take before you felt like you were successful?
At least 10 years.
10 years, yep.
10 years, yeah.
So, and does your family support you? I mean, you said your mom didn't necessarily support you in the beginning. I know you're married. How long have you been married?
9 years this year.
Spectacular. So now you started this journey before you got married?
After I get married.
After you got married. And so was your husband supportive? And
he's always supported whatever I pursue. He always supported. Yeah.
That's spectacular. So you have someone that backs you up, that says, yeah, baby, go do it. You know, you've got this. I know that it's in you, and that's fantastic. Because, you know, when you've got somebody who's a big part of your life, your mom, you think, oh my gosh, she's my mother, you know, I've got to respect what she says. But if that's a negative voice, you need to also combat that, or have something that's positive on the opposite side that can be a little bit stronger to kind of counteract that.
Yeah, follow your heart.
Exactly. Well, sometimes, and that's the thing, sometimes your heart says, I want to do this, but that voice from, you know, that important person in your life kind of makes you doubt what your heart is saying.
Just ignore that voice. And
I agree. So do you have, I mean, obviously you have goals, but do you have, like, your goals, are they written down? And how often do you write them down?
Every day. Yeah,
you write the same goals, or you adjust them every day?
If I achieve it, I move to the next one.
Perfect. And so do you have a vision board or something similar to that? So that
I also have a vision board in my bedroom. Yeah.
I love it. Is it like a whole wall?
Some.
Yeah, that's how ours is. We've got a whole wall in our bedroom. So it's like, you know, this massive thing that you wake up every morning and you see everything that you're working towards. So I know, I love that. So what do you do for growth, for self-improvement, for self-development? What kind of things do you do?
I believe that personal improvement play a big, important role in my life. I start into the personal improvement in 2014. Like, I went to Tony Robbins seminars, and that's really life-changing. And since then, I keep going to his seminars. And then John Maxwell plays a big part. Teach me how to add value to people every day. Value people, constantly adding value to people. Think of way to adding value to people. And we started with the Millionaire Mind Intensive, right? That's how we meet each other. And in the past 1 year, I have grown a lot. I went from event up to event up to event. And now I speak nationally. It's just amazing how things can happen in such a short amount of time. And I believe that keep investing in yourself and expanding yourself, and the right relationship will take you to the next level.
I agree. So tell me your thoughts on, because I know we have all different kinds of women listening to this. So we've got women who are just starting out, who may not necessarily have a lot of money to invest
Yes.
in their business, let alone in themselves. And then, other women who, they've built themselves up and they still continue to invest in their business and themselves. Give me some suggestions that you think you have for both ends of the spectrum. So you've got someone who maybe doesn't have that much money. What can they do, or what do you suggest? And then the other end of the spectrum, someone who can afford this, what do you suggest?
So I would say for the person who start out, has no money to invest, that's totally okay. And I always teach people, always have a plan B in life. The B stands for business. Always have a business in your plan. And I highly recommend women get into the direct sale or network marketing industry, because I have seen so many women that even stay at home moms, right? And they use this vehicle to generate wealth in their as a career. Okay, there's so many companies out there. I would say choose the one that you're passionate about, right? Then, because if you're not passionate about it, it's very hard, right? Just like when I sell that jewelry, fashionable jewelry, I'm not passionate about it, it's very difficult for me, right? And then find a company that offers a product or service that you're passionate about. Number two is the company offer a good training system, right? That can train and develop you. Number three is that company have a strong mentorship or coach who can support you each step of the way. It's a great business model. However, it's simple but not easy. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. In order to be successful, you gotta have the right mindset and skill set. That's why I would say number one, find the one that you're passionate about, either the product or services, and have a good training system and have a good mentor, right? So, and once you make money from this vehicle, and then you're gonna learn how to turn your active income into passive income. Means that, for example, if you make 1,000 this month, develop a habit of pay yourself 10% at least, right? And then put that 10% of 1,000, which is $100, and reinvest that money. And that's how your money growing, and that's how you develop multiple streams of income. Yep. You can have income from your work, you can have income from your side business, you can have income from your investment. Yeah.
And then someone on the opposite end, someone who has the money and to invest in themselves and their business, what do you suggest for them?
For the person who already have the money to invest?
Yep.
So the person who already have the money to invest, I will introduce them to the concept about financial empowerment. Financial empowerment means that you're gonna have the right mindset, the wealth mindset, and the skill set to not only just make money, right? It's important, but also you need to know how to grow your money.
Right.
Right? But also need to know how to keep your money, because it's not how much you make, it's how much you can keep.
Exactly.
And so often I've seen people make a lot of money, but they don't know how to invest. They just wasting and end up losing a lot of money. That's why I also have developed my Financial Genius Academy. I teach people with the basic wealth principle, step by step. How do you invest? Because I believe investment, it's not about the how it's important. However, the what and the why, it's also important. Because if you don't understand the basic investment principle, you will end up getting lost and you have a fear.
Yeah, and I think we don't get that education in school.
No.
And there's so many people who've grown up without their parents giving them the financial education. I know that I didn't grow up with financial education. I think I learned how to write a check when I was in high school. And that was very basic. That was, open a checking account and here's how you write a check on a blank check. And that was the extent of the financial education that we got in school. I mean, that was it. So besides Rich Dad Poor Dad, like you mentioned, and playing the cash flow games, that's a lot of my education and self-taught.
Self-taught.
Yeah, exactly. I read voraciously, and so business books and all of that. That's how I've learned, and I have so much more to learn.
Yeah.
So what are you sound to me like you're more of a planner than someone who goes with the flow. So do you like set everything out as far as what you're going to be doing with your business and your life, or do you just kind of set a general overview goal and then however you get there, that's how you get there? How does that work for you?
Like you said, I used to be a planner, like everything I plan. And recently I learned that it's not going to work that way. Regardless of how much you plan, right? Things going to change. So I set a clear intention of what I want to accomplish. Mm-hmm. However, how do I get there? It's up to the universe. Yep. I co-create with the universe. I set the intention. About the how do I get there? I leave it up to the universe, the higher self, the spiritual self.
So that leads me into another question that's not on the list that I sent you. How did you get to that point? Because you say you were a planner, mm-hmm. and I've never been a planner. I'm terrible at setting myself a schedule. I've been working on, that's one of the things that I've been working on, is setting myself a little bit more of a structured schedule. But I've always been someone who just kind of goes with the flow. Mm. So I'm like the opposite. I've always been like, whatever happens, happens. The structure, like you said, setting a clear intention is very important, because I've never set a clear intention. So how did you go from being a structured planner to letting go enough to be able to allow the universe to do what it does, which sometimes, it throws you for a loop, but in the end, you come out so much better off than you would have ever imagined.
Yeah.
How did you go from that extreme? Because I've gone the opposite way. How did you go from being a planner to someone who's a little bit more go with the flow, set an intention and go with the flow?
The thing that you do, Tammy, it's a gift for you. So own it, keep it.
I never thought of it as that. So thank you.
That's truly a gift. That's truly a gift. I need to learn the hard way. I learned the hard way, and I plan, and then you create a lot of stress when things doesn't work out the way you want it. It create a lot of stress. That's why, and the personal improvement help, right? I just came back from the wizard camp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they teach us. They teach about how to become a wizard, to just live with the flow, be in the present moment, and become the co-creation with the universe. And it just happened. Everything happened for a reason. Everything just come to you, right? The past 10 years, I'm so driven at creating wealth, structure, plan, doing this, doing that. And now I just go with the flow. Things happen. It happened. Everything happened for a reason. And the reason, it's there to serve you.
Yep.
Right? I can plan all day long, but what if the universe has even better plan for you?
Exactly.
And by doing that, I have less stress, and it's just a great way to live.
So for someone who, let's say a young mom, okay? You've got kids, you've got, places you've got to take them. You've got to have some sort of a structure. And sometimes you feel like there's no way I can let go, because if I let go, then chaos will ensue and my world's going to fall apart. How would you best express to someone like that how to let go? Because it's very easy for me to just say, just let it go, because I can let it go. I didn't realize that it was so easy for me to just be like, I'm not going to worry about it. Roy obviously is laughing at me because he's like, oh, God, I have no worries. But like you just said, and I didn't even think about it, it's a gift, and it's something that I just do automatically. For someone who's not necessarily like that, how do you you say you came from that position. How did you, through self-improvement, I get that, but there's got to be a process to be able to allow yourself to let go. You can read all the books that you want and, go to the courses, but if there's not that process, or is it a matter of learning that stuff so that you do have that process?
I would say it's just a decision. Anybody can make that decision just like this, right? The question is, how long do you want to hold on to that? When would you like to let it go? And its decision is yours.
That is the best answer. Absolutely perfect. Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because it's hard for, I get the rebuttal a lot that, well, I can't let go. I've got to hold on to this. If I let, oh my God, the kids will run over me, and it'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fine. And once you get into the practice of letting go and just like you said, making that decision to actually let go, if things fall apart for a little bit, that doesn't mean that they're going to stay like that. The kids get messy, the house gets messy. There's no balance in your life. There's no balance anywhere. It's a matter of you making the decision and the choice to be okay with letting one thing go so that something else can grow a little bit easier.
True.
So what do you do for fun?
I'm glad you asked. I like to travel. I really love to see the beautiful places. Like, we're gonna spend two weeks in Disney World with the kids. We love to go ballroom dancing with my husband. I like to learn ballroom dancing. And recently we start, the whole family, me and my two kids, me and my husband, we start to learn how to play golf.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's really fun. You go out in the beautiful nature with your family. It's just a great way to hang out versus stay at home and play video games,
Yeah, I agree. Staying home and playing video games is all well and fun, but you got to get out in nature, and golf is great. I am horrible at golf.
I'm not very good either.
But you get your exercise in.
Yeah.
Because you're walking around. You get downtime, so you get to actually have a conversation and talk about things that are really important to you. Have those, and you're kind of stuck with, the kids are kind of stuck with you because they can't take off and go anywhere because they're, you've got to stay going up down the course, but you have time to be able to have those conversations that really matter.
Yeah, just hang out.
It's like going on long road trips, with no music. Get rid of the electronics and be stuck having a conversation, singing songs and being silly, playing the games like we did when we were kids,
Yeah.
So what else? Golf,
or dancing,
traveling.
Yeah.
So are you making a point? This is also something that's not on the list of questions that I had for you, but just thought of. Are you making a point of teaching your kids the business side? I mean, do you involve them? How old are your kids? They're still little, yes?
Oh, my son, it's 5 and 7. My daughter, it's 5 years old. Mm-hmm. And I teach them the concept about investing, and I pay them and I help them invest their money so they start early and things like that.
So involving them, that's perfect, because if we don't share with our kids,
mm-hmm.
How to deal with money.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing that when Roy and I first got together, is I had a hard time with, because I was brought up that we didn't talk about money. It was not an issue, and he was talking to the kids about the bills and we've got to pay this. And I was like, what are you doing? That's our business. It's not their, how are they going to learn if we don't talk about it with them? Talking about, we've got this much that we make, we've got to pay this much in bills, we've got this much we've got to, put aside for investment and all that. If we don't talk to them about it, who's going to? Schools are definitely not going to do that. So
it's good to expose them at young age.
Yeah, and then once they start getting the concept of, even if you just start out when they're little with just change, getting them familiar with the concept of money and its value. You've got to be able. Do you have with your program? Do you have a section for kids?
Yeah, I teach them. Perfect. I teach them how to invest. And the other day, my son, he said, Mommy, I want to be rich when I grow up. And I'm very interesting. I said, oh, why? Why do you want to be rich, right? He said, because I want to help a lot of people.
Awesome.
So it just the way as a parent we lead by example. They see what you do. Because when I go out for appointments, sometimes I travel, and I always tell people. Sorry, I always tell my kids, mommy gonna go and helping families. Like, lots of kids, they are not as flashy as you are, right? They need help. That's why I go, and they are very supported. You want to involve your kids, your parents, the whole family as part of your vision and mission.
Yeah, having them involved in it and creating more of a family mission, family vision, I think helps you stay motivated, but then also includes them in what you're doing, so they don't feel like they're left out when you have to go for a trip, a business trip or whatever. They understand why you're going and what you're doing, and that, like you said, you're helping people. So I love that. So do you have women that inspire you? Who inspires you?
I would say Sharon Lecton.
Mm-hmm.
She is the concept that she shared. It's just very, very powerful. Yeah.
I love her version of Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's keep from
I mean,
goal.
yeah, it's very similar to the original with Napoleon Hill, but she's adjusted it for women, and I appreciate that she's done that, and I appreciate she's done a great job with that
Did a
as
good
well.
job.
Yeah.
And another lady, her name is Danny Johnson. I'm not sure. Have you heard about her?
No.
She she is willing to be authentic and share her past experience, and willing to be open up for people, and then teach people how to forgive, how to let it go. Very powerful.
That, and we need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brene Brown talks about shame and how it's such a big part of our lives,
Yeah.
and being able to forgive is a part of that, because you feel the shame of what's happened in your past, whatever that may be, and shame has to do with that. So I can understand that. That's phenomenal. So I've added a couple extra questions besides the ones that I added on flow here, but what kind of a legacy would you like to leave?
That's a good question. The other day, I asked myself, if today I pass, what kind of legacy I leave behind, right? And my vision is to empower people with the mindset that to be able to empower them to create the financial freedom in their family. What really brings me the joy is when I see the family, right, go through the program, go through the system. They are financially taken care of. They never ever worried about money. They can just pursue their life purpose, doing the things that they love. That's my legacy. Yeah.
I love that.
To help people, to empower people with financial literacy so that they can be free.
I love that, because you're not only helping them, you're helping their generations moving
Generation.
forward, because they're learning what they need to be able to pass that on. So that legacy is amazing, because it's not just one generation, it's
Yeah.
multiple generations. That's
Yeah.
phenomenal. So what's your favorite book?
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Of course.
Of course.
That's
Think
what I
and
did.
Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich also.
Yeah, those two books have impacted my life a lot as well. So is there another one that you can think of in addition to those? Because those are very common.
That's the book that I read it over and over again.
Okay, good. So what would you like other women out there to know?
I would say that be financially empowered, because I have seen so many women, people, some of them getting divorced, right? Some of them spouse pass away, and they always say, "Oh, my spouse take care of my finance. I don't need to worry about that." And when those events happen, it become a disaster, and they are stressed. They clueless. They don't know how to handle things. So I would say be financially empowered. You don't have to become an expert, but at least you have some basic understanding, understand some basic principle, how to properly manage your own personal finance and how to invest and how to take care of certain things. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So
Yeah.
that's for women. I'm having a mental moment for a second there. What would you like to let young girls and young ladies know? Because that's a little bit different.
Yeah. And I would say start with a vision, right? And have your own personal value. What is most important to you? Like I believe this personal value is so important. Like what is your core value? What is your core value? And who do you want to become? Who do you want to ultimately create your own self, your own version, right? Have that vision for your future self and develop some core value.
I love that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
love, family. Yeah.
Yeah. So one question that I didn't ask that I should have asked, do you have? What's one question that I should have asked you that I didn't?
Oh, so you didn't ask or you should
One
have
question
asked?
that I didn't ask that I should have.
Mm-hmm. So the question would be, what makes you keep pushing, keep going, regardless of those ups and downs? And
And the answer is?
my answer to that is my life purpose. It's my passion for people that I always want to help people to develop a lifestyle that's filled with health and wealth, joy and abundance. And it's my passion for people keep pushing me going forward and push me to reach out of my comfort zone because I never want to become a speaker. Never. That's in my dream. It's not on my but the reason I'm willing to step into that, I'm willing to stretch myself being uncomfortable because I want to make a bigger impact in other people's life, and that's a vehicle for me to deliver that.
Oh, yeah, I love that. That's perfect because so many people are, and I've been there as well, is, you know, you get stuck in this comfort zone and you don't want to push anybody. And if you've got somebody like Roy that's willing to push you and say, you know what, get up, get out,
Oh, good.
you know, so it's great to have that. I love that. So thank you, Angeline. I so greatly appreciate you being here and helping me out and sharing yourself and having such phenomenal information, because finances, you know, most people, when they ask, you know, you ask them what they want, they say they want money.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know it's not specifically money that they want, it's what money can get them. And without the financial education, you have the people who win the millions of dollars in the lotto and then lose it because they don't know what to do with it. So having the ability to know what to do with your money,
Mm-hmm.
how to manage it, how to control it, how to have it work for you, these are all things that are actually imperative to know. So I'm going to attach all of Angeline's information down below, how you can get a hold of her, how you can be a part of her academy. And then that way you can learn for yourself, if you don't already know, how to empower yourself when it comes to your finances. This is something that's very, very important. And it's not something that, you know, you can study and you can learn on your own, but why not learn with somebody who already knows what they're doing,
Yeah.
and can help you out and move you along on that path just a little bit faster. And when it comes to, you know, starting out a business, if you've already started out a business, it doesn't hurt for you to learn a little bit more. If you haven't started a business, having that leg up and knowing where to start makes all the difference. So again, Angeline, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing this. And I will talk to you again later. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tammy.